Good morning, all. I am Lavanya, working as Associate Professor in the Department of ACE from Ramchandra College of Engineering, Eluru. Today, we are going to discuss about practical DC characteristics of an operational amplifier from linear IC applications course. So, in continuation to the previous videos, the practical characteristics is studied in two previous videos, that is AC characteristics and stability and frequency compensation techniques. In continuation to that, here we are going to study about the practical DC characteristics of an op-amp. As we have discussed already, the practical characteristics of an operational amplifier is mainly divided into two types, namely AC characteristics and DC characteristics. So AC characteristics is further divided into slew rate and frequency response. These two topics we have covered in the previous videos, and now we are going to concentrate on DC characteristics of operational amplifier. So what are the DC characteristics of operational amplifier? Here we have, they are input bias current, which is denoted with I suffix B, IB. Next one is input offset current, which is denoted as IOS. Next one is input offset voltage, which is denoted as VIOS. And output offset voltage, which is denoted as VOOS. The last one is thermal drift. So in this presentation, we are going to see all the 5 DC characteristics of operational amplifier in detail. Among these, the first one is input bias current. So as we have seen that input bias current is denoted with the IB. So we will discuss what is the input bias current here. So input bias current is nothing but the average value of base currents that are entering into the terminals of an operational amplifier. This is as shown in this figure. That is, this is the open loop operational amplifier. So here the input bias current is defined as the average value of base currents that are entering towards the input terminals of operational amplifier. So here we have two input terminals, that is inverting input and non-inverting input. The current which is entering towards the inverting terminal of the op-amp is denoted as IB minus, and the current which is entering towards the non-inverting terminal of op-amp is denoted as IB plus. So if we consider the average value of these two currents, we will be getting the input bias current. So what is this input bias current and how we have to reduce this, we will discuss now. So we know that in ideal op-amps, if input voltage is equal to 0, output voltage will also be equal to 0. So in connection to that, we also know that there is no current drawn from the input terminals, that is the bias currents that are entering towards these input terminals. That means this IB minus or IB plus, or altogether we can call this average value, that is input bias current to be equal to 0. So this is what in ideal condition. So this is an ideal condition, but practically you will be having some bias current that is produced, because as both the transistors are identical, but IB minus and IB plus are not exactly equal due to internal imbalance between the two inputs. So because of this, there will be some current that will be developed even though the input voltage is equal to 0. So we will see how this input bias current or output offset voltage will be appeared due to presence of this input bias current. So here we are going to consider the inverting amplifier circuit. So in this inverting amplifier circuit, you will be applying input voltage to be equal to 0. So as this input voltage is equal to 0, the current which is obtaining from this, or current which is passing because of this voltage, that is I1 is equal to 0. As input voltage is equal to 0, we should have output voltage will also be equal to 0. But practically you will be getting some 500 millivolts output voltage. That means this output voltage is called as an offset value. So this offset value is obtained because of the bias current. We know that the typical value for input bias current is 500 nanoamps, and this output voltage is offset by op-amp with a 1 mega ohm feedback resistor. So here the RF value, feedback resistor value will be taken as 1 mega ohm, and we have seen that the input, typical input bias current is 500 nanoamps. So if you calculate output from this circuit, you will be having V0 is equal to IB into RF. So you will be having IB into RF. So we know that IB is equal to 500 nanoamps and RF is equal to 1 mega ohms. So if you multiply these two value, you will be having 500 millivolts, which is offset voltage with the 0 input voltage. So which is not acceptable. So now how to reduce this 500 millivolts that is produced due to input bias current 500 nanoamps. So this is nullified. That is the output voltage 500 millivolts is brought to 0 due to the compensation, that is resistor that is used in the non-inverting terminal of the op-amp. So here we are placing the R compensation like this, and the voltage across this R compensation is denoted with V1. So in order to find out or to nullify this voltage, you will be applying KVL to the input loop. So if we apply KVL to the input loop, you will be having loop equation like this. This is loop direction. So as input voltage is equal to 0, we are not considering this part of the circuit. So if you consider here minus V1 plus VD plus V2 minus V0 equal to zeros. So V1 is nothing but IB into R compensation. That is IB plus into R compensation. Here VD equal to 0 due to virtual ground concept condition, or we are considering Vi is equal to 0 as this is the input voltage. The difference between these two inputs will also be equal to 0. So this is the VD equal to 0, and we are mentioning V2 as V2 itself, or you can mention it as I2 into RF, which is the current that is flowing from output terminal, and V0 will be V0 itself. So if you substitute or if you rearrange this equation, you will be having V0 is equal to V2 minus V1. So this is the output equation you will be getting. Next, if we substitute, we know that V1 is equal to IB plus into R compensation, and from this we can write IB plus is equal to V1 by R compensation, and we have the currents I1 is equal to V1 by R1. Similarly, you can write I2 equal to V2 by RF. So if we substitute, and for compensation V0 should be equal to 0, that is V0 equal to 0 for Vi is equal to 0. Since V0 is equal to 0, as we have previous condition, that is V0 equal to V2 minus V1. So this will be equal to 0. Hence, you can write V2 minus V1, so that you can express that I2 is equal to V1 by RF. Now, if we substitute V1 in this equation, that is IB plus into R compensation, you will be getting I2 equal to V1 by RF plus I1 equal to V1 by R1. So if you take V1 as common, and you will be getting R1 plus RF by R1 into RF. So this is IB minus equation. So here we have to remember this point. That is, if we assume IB minus and IB plus is equal, that is, if both the bias currents that are entering towards the operational amplifier input terminals are assumed to be equal to 0, then we can make second and fifth equations. That is, IB plus equal to V1 by R compensation. So we can make both currents to be equal. So we will be getting V1 into R1 by RF by R1 into RF is equal to V1 by R compensation. So if you cancel V1 and V1 on both sides, you will be getting R compensation as R1 plus RF by R1 into RF, which is nothing but the parallel combination of R1 and RF. So this is the compensating resistor. By properly choosing R1 and RF values, from this R compensation, you can reduce the output offset voltage, that is 500 millivolts to 0. So here it is shown with the help of one example. Sorry, here it is completed. Next, we are going for input bias current, which is denoted as IOS, or simply you can represent it as IOS. So input bias current is nothing but the small difference between IB plus and IB minus. So this difference current is said to be input offset current. As we have seen in the previous case, that we are assuming that IB plus and IB minus to be equal. If these both are equal, then the above condition, that is R compensation value, will be used to reduce the offset voltage. But if there is some difference between this IB plus and IB minus, that small difference is denoted as offset or input offset current. So, for example, if we consider the typical value of this input offset current is 200 nanoamps, and for FETs it will be 10 picofarads. Now we are not considering about this. If we consider the input offset current for BJT, that is 200 nanoamps, and if we apply input voltage to be equal to 0, what is the amount of output voltage you will be getting? We have to find out from the expressions. So we already know that V1 is equal to IB plus into R compensation. Here we are going to use the same circuit that has been used in the IB, that is input bias current, that is with R compensation network. So considering that circuit, you will be having V1 is equal to IB plus into R compensation. And we can write I1 is equal to V1 by R12. And I2 is denoted with IB minus I1, which is nothing but IB minus I1 is V1 by R1, where V1 is equal to IB plus into R compensation. So if you replace all these values, you will be getting I2 is equal to IB minus IB plus into R compensation by R1. So from that, and we are considering output voltage. Output voltage is equal to I2 into RF minus V1. So if you replace this V1 with IB plus into R compensation, you will be getting V0 is equal to I2 into RF minus IB plus into R compensation. So here, if you assumed that is input offset current to be 200 nanoamps, and feedback resistance is same, that is 1 mega ohm, then you will be getting output voltage will be 200 millivolts with the VI is equal to 0. So this is the output or offset voltage due to input offset current. So in order to nullify this offset current, that is offset voltage, that means in order to nullify this 200 millivolts that is produced due to this input offset current, we are going to use the feedback resistance to keep small. But if you keep this input impedance or feedback resistance to be small, then RF sorry, if you increase this input impedance, and R1 must also be kept large. If R1 is large, the feedback resistance must also be high, so we can obtain reasonable gain. But if this resistance is increased, this value is increased, so it should be maintained constant. So for this we are using T feedback network as a good solution. Instead of single resistor, you will be using a network for this compensation. So here, large feedback resistance will be allowed while keeping the resistance to ground low. So here, T feedback network provides a feedback signal as if network were a single feedback resistor. So here we are converting T to pi conversion, that is this T combination RT RS combination. This T is replaced with a pi conversion by using RF is equal to RT square plus 2 into RT RS by RS. And from this, if you choose RF is much less than RF by 2, sorry, RT much less than RF by 2, then you can calculate RS is equal to RT square by RF minus 2RT. So by using these two expressions, we can calculate the value of feedback circuit. So here we are going to discuss about input offset voltage. So input offset voltage means, so this is the voltage. So if you see this figure 1, you will be having input offset voltage to keep output voltage to be equal to 0. Generally, we will be considering that if VI is equal to 0, output V0 should be equal to 0. But we are not getting output voltage to be equal to 0. So to keep this output voltage to be equal to 0, we are maintaining some offset input voltage. So if we keep this input offset voltage, then output will be returned to 0. So this concept is called as what? Input offset voltage. So if you see here, you will be having the definition. This is the voltage called input offset voltage VOS. And this is the voltage required to be applied at the input for making output voltage to be 0. So because of this, if you consider this is a non-inverting amplifier and this is inverting amplifier. So if VI is equal to 0, what happens? This inverting amplifier, sorry, this non-inverting amplifier is directly, it is connected to ground. And in inverting amplifier, if VI is equal to 0, we can assume that this is connected directly to be grounded. So if you see both the circuits, so that is the equivalent circuit is shown in figure 4 here. So if you see both the circuits, it will appear to be the same. That is, both looks to be the same circuit, whether it is inverting or non-inverting circuits. Okay. Next one is total output offset voltage. So in this total output offset voltage, so what is this total output offset voltage means? So this is the offset voltage produced at the output due to input bias current or input offset voltage alone. So this is because IB and VOS could be either positive or negative with respect to the ground. So therefore, the maximum offset voltage at the output of an inverting and non-inverting amplifiers as shown in figure B and C without any compensation technique used is given by many operational op-amps provide offset compensation pins to nullify the offset voltage. So here we are showing that instead of using compensating networks, here in ICs directly they were providing 2 pins, that is pin 1 and pin 5 will be having offset null pins. So if you connect one 10 kilo ohms potentiometer between this pin 1 and pin 5 by varying this 10 kilo ohms potentiometer, that is the wiper that is connected to the negative power supply at pin 4, the position of wiper is adjusted to nullify the offset voltage. So this is the technique that has been finally used by using the IC. So from this you can obtain the total offset voltage. This is maintained to be equal to 0 for input voltage is equal to 0. So this is shown in figure here. So if it is considered to be the first circuit by using R compensation. So with this, you will be connecting pin 1 and pin 4. In between pin 1 and pin 4, you will be using a 10 kilo ohms potentiometer, where this wiper is connected to the negative power supply of the op-amp. So by moving the position of this wiper, so this wiper is moved towards this side or this side. So by moving this wiper, you can nullify the output voltage, that is offset voltage that is produced even if VI is equal to 0. So this is the final technique that is used in ICs. So here the output offset voltage is mentioned in terms of bias current, input bias current, whereas here the output offset voltage is mentioned in terms of input offset current. So whatever may be the values, you can use this technique to nullify the output voltages. So next to last one is thermal drift. So here thermal drift means there is change in voltage due to change in temperature. That means if you nullify the circuit values at particular temperature, that is 25 degrees Celsius, then if there is rise in temperature to 35 degrees Celsius, then the values that you have nullified will not remain same for this 35 degrees temperature. This change in values for change in temperature is called as a thermal drift. So the offset current drift is expressed in terms of nanoamps per degree Celsius, and this indicates the change in offset for each degree Celsius change in temperature. So here we have to see that the temperature should be maintained constant, or you have to carefully nullify even if temperature is changed. So this is what we have to concentrate more. So these are the 5 DC characteristics of operational amplifier which we have seen. So these are the assignment questions that we can expect from this topics. That is, here it will be asked for essay questions like this. That is, explain the following terms. First one is input offset voltage, input offset current. So among these 5 terms, it can be expected to ask any of the explanations. That means any of the characteristics. So here it is shown that input offset voltage and input offset current for 7 marks. Each carries 3.5 and 3.5. And the second question is explain the following about input bias current and thermal drift. So here the maximum marks will go for this input bias current, and here it will be only 3 marks for thermal drift. Again, the list DC characteristics of an operational amplifier. So for this question, since it is asked for only short answer, it is sufficient if you mention the list of DC characteristics, that is the 5 points. So these are the questions that we can expect from this DC characteristics of an operational amplifier. Thank you.